Okay, here's the latest version of the Timber battery cartridge system. Sliding shuttle, same as the slightly previous one, Rev 1, this is Rev 2. I added some features, however, that are going to make it a safer installation. The pawls work on a little catch. Not sure it's easy to see. It's right there. It's a little rectangular with an angle on it, and I'll show it to you in the parts in a minute. But what happens is this comes down, snaps it pushes the pawl over and then snaps into the magnet, so it kind of does a down and in move. So I think it's a whole lot keener and or cooler, and works the same as the other one. And now we're going to put one together. I'll show you the little differences from the last one. Anyway, here goes. Here are the pieces we start with. This is what you'll get in the kit. Okay, so 3/8 440 and a nut, 2 wood screws, Phillips head, stainless steel, spared no expense, 2 button head Allens to hold the pawls to the sides, and 6 magnets. And here we go. Let's move all this stuff off to the side. So what we do is separate the parts from the various pieces and parts. I changed the angle of this to clear as the pawl comes down and moves into its position. There's 2 of these in the kits. You'll have to, if you ever break one, you'll have a spare, but you'll have to remove your magnet from the first to put in the second. So you get 2 of those, and this is the ESC cradle that plugs into the bottom of the floor that you can strap your ESC to if you so desire. These are, this is difficult, where am I? There. These 4 little angles, they're a little fiddly. You only need 2 for the kit, but then again, I'm giving you 2, or sorry, 4, 2 extras just in case you lose one, etc. Not happy with its installation, you can take it out and replace it. So there's 4, easy to cut. The outside perimeter of this shape is through cut. This line that you see here, a pointing tool rather than my stubby fingers. This line that you see is an indicator line. That line is what you use to line it up to the receiver part. Well, actually, in this slot right here. This little piece fits in that slot right there. This piece hooks into it with its tongue right there. That'll be a little bit more obvious once I get the parts separated. I always mean for these videos to be shorter. They always end up being really long. Or longer than you would think they'd need to be. Punch all that, but I like to do it in front of the camera, all the steps that you might go through in your own shop, because if I had all the parts prepared, you may miss something, or I may miss something, more than likely. So these are just cutouts in the deck. There's a little wrench here, obviously, to tighten the nuts. Not obviously, but if you've seen some of my other videos, you use it to tighten the nut that I showed you earlier. Just punch out all the little pieces and parts, and these are the 12. Even if you don't use these way back here, it's good to take them out, because every little bit of weight helps, a little bit of weight reduction. Here, here, and here. These 4 positions that I just cleared are the ones that hold the ESC cradle. The screws, the screw holes, there's 4. 2 4 if you want to use all of them. I don't think it's necessary. Pretty tight tolerance, slides in the hole. I just use these 2, the front 2. These screws, these stainless wood screws, are for those holes. You're going to need to take the tip of a drill bit or something and countersink a little bit this hole, so this screw will fit flush. I can't countersink with the laser. Hang on one second. Let me get a drill bit and show you. Little bitty countersink there. Just chamfer the hole a little bit, just enough to where that screw is going to fit flush down in there sweetly, like that. See that? Then the tray, as it slides by, is going to move over it nicely. Anyway, that's the plan. Countersink, however you do it. Even a Dremel tool with a stone bit on it can make your life easier. Do a countersink with it. Not real critical, but just so you know, you need countersinks there and there, or chamfer that hole. Okay, so let's glue the thing together. Start with magnets, left and right side. There's an F on these things that go forward. Always want to match the F's. F, F, forward. I don't know why it always ends up, but I do it left. Build these things with the left hand forward. So that's how that's going to go. Slap that on there and use it as a gauge. Like so. We have a right side going forward. We want to stack up a left side going forward. There's an F on it for forward. And that goes, there's an F on this for forward. That goes here. So one at a time, we'll glue these side rails to the rack deck. This is just really for alignment. You want to get that 90 to the deck. 90 degrees. So we take 2 magnets out of our pile, which everything is glued to or stuck to. Take 2, set them down, push one over, and push the next one over and can't miss. Famous last words. Slap it off of there, glue it, and glue it. Where's my tapper? Probably gonna pick something else up. There we go. Let's do one of these. So we've got the gate. This is the CG positioner, and this is the latch, or the gate. Sorry, the gate. When that snaps together, that snaps closed. This tongue is in one of the slots in the rack deck. Okay, both F's facing up. Get the magnet off the deck. Slide the first one over, slide the second one over. Separate them. Etc. You know, it doesn't hurt ever to harden the threads of something. Oops, too soon. Oh boy. Because it's just going to make it last longer is all. It's not going to really see a whole lot of movement here. But if you feel like it, you can harden the plywood and it makes it last longer. And I think not so critical here, but let's get both sides done first. Flop it over, flop it over. Make sure you flush. Getting out of camera here. Got a nice stain going on the deck. And this is going to see a lot of use, so hey, we just scrape some into that hole like that. Like so. Grab your handy wiper. We'll run a piece of sandpaper over that eventually. Okay, so that's that. Both F's are up. They lock together forward. They don't repel each other, oddly. And there you have it. So we're going to strengthen the glue, or strengthen the threads in this hole by just dropping a drop of CA in there. And then blowing through it. And what that has the effect of is thread hardener spray, and then the screw will run through there nicely. Yeah, not too bad. And that fits on here. This is the shoe. And that's how it goes together, and it's easier to align with your eye at 90. So we just tuck some into the fillet, wiggle it back and forth, suck it in there, 90 it with your eye, good to go. Turn it over. Don't glue the gate to the CG positioner. And I like to add a fillet in here. So what if you got more glue in there? All right, it's going to see a lot of work, so we want to keep that joint nice and strong. God, I hope I've got this whole thing in video. Start the 3/8 stainless steel Allen head. I like to go all the way down, not super tight, but you know, there, and start winding it into the hole. I'm going to zoom back out because I'll get concentrating and show myself but not show you guys. Wind it in. And there you have it. If you back it out a hair, it's going to be a little looser and snap down into position. That's kind of what you want. You can feel it move to the detent. It's kind of like a detent. There. Yeah, as it gets looser, as you use it, it'll get looser. And that's the idea, is to have it be able to snap down in by itself. That'll get looser as we kind of deeper everything. Loosening up the tolerance, as we call it. Sometimes it ain't. Take the little wrench and give it a crank. The glue got in the way of the wrench fitting all the way down on it, so oh, there's perfect. And we'll just put some CA on the back of that. And if you're ever so inclined, CA. Yep. And there we go. Let that set. And that's a done. This is where we want to show you. This is the critical place to harden. This is going to see some torsion in its everyday use. So what I think I had this in mind is to show you what I think I'd like to do and have you do, the end users. Just harden about this much of the end. You know, glue the plies together at the end, just for giggles, on the plies of the plywood, because you'll see why eventually, very shortly, you'll see why we want to do this. It's going to take, and if you do this, this is going to last forever. Well, not forever, until the crash or till the expiration date of the aircraft, which they all have. But this will make it last for the life of the plane. You know, this twisting motion on this part is what we're guarding against, or actually enhancing. So the button head wants to go in towards the battery, which is this side of the contraption. That is how that works. Nice and tight. Snap down. As it loosens up, it'll just become just right. That feels a lot more sturdy than the prior ones. One more click and I'm happy with that. That is 2/3 of the manufacture of that. The pieces and parts that I was speaking of earlier in the video, these little triangle things, pretty fiddly. But as you get them out of their vehicle, the thing that comes in, this thing, these little guys, there's a line on them. And what you want to do is scoot that out of the way. That gets placed in there, and that line is what you use to line up its fitment. You use, God, I hope I can get this on the video. This little line here, you'll see it engraved in the surface of it, is flush with this part. Okay, so it's time for the stronger glass. Touch it on top, make sure it's flush with the back. That'll work. Okay, hold it in your hands. Make sure it's flush with the back. Just touch it with glue. Not your fingers. And do the old wipe trick and use that line to align things. There we go. That's nice. Nice and flush with the back. And that is that. Okay, this is the critical this is the critical surface. You want to kind of leave that alone. You can get glue on the sides here and here, and that's good. But the bottom you want to leave alone, because that's going to impact this. And what happens now is this comes down and its tension clicks it in like that. The magnets hold it together here, and the little tooth holds it from coming out. And when you have it in the aircraft, you're going to pull over and up. Hence the hardening of these surfaces back here, because you're going to want to, it's going to snap in, and then that's what locks the shuttle, or locks the shoe in. You know, you can still move the shoe back and forth, but when you want to take the battery out of the aircraft, you're going to pull over and up. And when you want to secure things, snap it down, and that's what's going to keep the shoe on the deck. Anyway, so now that that's done, let's do the other one. Again, slide it into its little receiver. Hopefully you're seeing this. So make sure that line is, you're flush with the back. Do the top, line is flush. That's good. Scrape it into the hole. Another hour and 15-minute video to do a 10-minute job. Okay, so that's that part. It's ready to go. Let's get some glue on the sides because you don't want that tooth coming out. That's kind of our bread and butter. We're living and dying by this little tooth. And kick it. And it's looking good. There you have it. So that's installed. Comes off of the tooth, and up you go. Snaps in, and there you have it. I wonder if it'd be easier to see if I'm doing that. Let's see. Pull over and up. Over and up. Okay, let's glue this other side on. Put the shoe in there. And that, you know, kind of helps you align everything. Make sure your shuttle's working, your shoe is working. You know, put a piece of sandpaper on anything, everything. Bend it, you're up. Get your battery on your shoe. You go into the aircraft. That way, and snap them down, and that's how to do that. And this goes forward. As that loosens up, it'll want to snap into the hole. You should adjust your screw to where it wants to not be floppy loose, but it wants to just jump into the hole, because if you get it slightly misaligned and it's down, when it's loose enough and right, it'll suck itself down into the hole. Anyway, so your battery's in there, you slide it back and forth, away, and you can deburr these edges, you know, to your taste. It's like making a gun trigger, or firing a gun trigger. You know, you just take a little sandpaper and deburr that edge, and you'd be surprised how much easier the workings of it is. You can just take a hair off of there, just wipe it once. You know, you don't want to do too much, but just a little bit. Let's see, is that the right edge? No. There. Both there and there. And just wipe it a little bit. Just deburr life. Smooth things out. I happen to have the perfect standing board. How does that ever happen? Not usually. And then you don't want to get the tongue, you want to get the bottom of this. Just deburr the edges. And there's an angle to this. See that angle of that? That helps you clear, that helps it kick itself into the lock position on that CG placement fence. Top's not such a big deal, bottom is. Okay, so yeah, it's loosening up. Just work it, back it off, and then work it. 10 attempts and you're going to be just right. Okay, so it slides in the front, and with the gate up, oh, that feels better. slides a bit like that. You get your battery in your plane. Dip. Slap it down. You're ready to go. Hangs in the aircraft like that. The ESC cradle. Well, first of all, the screws that you use again are those. Well, these two. You want to countersink them however you can. So, screw again fits flush. And you'll know when you get it right because this will slide over it. Yes, and so the thought being that these would miss whatever ESC wires, etc. Are hanging out in the bottom if the screws were in board of that. So just be mindful of the screws and your ESC wires or ESC. So that's how the cradle works. I'm not sure how many of you will use it, but it's there if you want to. Goes in there thusly, and there's another piece hiding around here somewhere. So this little plate that comes with the kit fits in there. You just want to get it 90. Okay, this is the ESC cradle, which I just glued. And that's how it fits on there. Flush with that, flush with that. Mind the screws, and you're working. You choose to use it or not, it's up to you. Slides back and forth. Again, lift, lift, snap, snap. Lift, lift, lift with your battery out. Set your battery in the aircraft. Down you go. There you are. Thanks for watching.